welcome to Heart of Sports. It's me. I'm back. I'm on vacation, folks. Sorry for the delay. I love to see all of the post-finals reaction, all of the news, the parade, all the retraction, all of the eating crow. I love to see it all before I really digest everything that I've taken in, because as well as critiquing the games, I love critiquing the media because it's a passion of mine, as well as what I actually studied in college. When I was playing ball, I was studying communications and studying digital media and technology, hoping to be a sports reporter. Little tidbit there. So we're going to get into actually what happened, the finals. The Miami Heat, first of all, let me give them their props on a great run. They went through the Eastern Conference in a way that a top seed would. Nobody ever got used to the fact that they were doing it, to the point they were just getting picked against no matter what. It's like after a while you can't keep saying it's shocking. After a while you can't keep saying these are undrafted players and Jimmy Butler. After a while you got to look at these players for who they are. A lot of these players experienced loss in the bubble when they went to the finals in 2020. A lot of these players are battle-tested. Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love. A lot of these players, though they're undrafted to you, are in a Miami Heat infrastructure that's going to allow them to be themselves and grow, and not just play a traditional role that they would on the other 30 teams in the league or so. They went through like champions, and they didn't get the job done. And I think in the offseason, it's already been rumblings of Bradley Beal waiving his no trade to become a member of the Heat. That's one of the teams on his radar personally. Shout out to Bradley Beal for finally making the move to go ahead and lead the comfort of being in Washington, D.C. Now that the Heat have finally lost their 5, we could really just actually critique the Miami Heat. I believe they are a team that ran out of gas. They maximized the parts that they had, and it's been, to me at least, their one superstar away. They've been trying to land the big fish for years. Jimmy Butler's a great player. Playoff Jimmy's an amazing player. He's given us some great moments, some great basketball. If I had to if I had to compare him, I'm sorry if I sound like this. I lost my voice. I'm on vacation. Family everywhere. It's my niece's birthday, and I don't have a voice no more. So, but anyway, when I look at him, they've been trying to get KD. They've tried to get a lot of players to join this Heat roster. They put them over the top when it comes to playing those upper echelon teams, aka the Western Conference. When they played the Lakers in 2020, they had no answer for Anthony Davis, even though Bam Adebayo is great in his own right. He is a traditional power forward. They're going to have to address getting a traditional center, if not to play starter minutes, to be able to play matchup. I like what the Lakers did in 2020. They had Dwight Howard, they had JaVale McGee, but they didn't make it so that this person has to play. They went matchup based. Dwight Howard defended Jokic beautifully in 2020. He played the majority of the starters minutes in that series. Anthony Davis played great at the power forward, which is what he has traditionally loved to do. Even though he stepped into more of a center role as of late, he traditionally loves to play the power forward. They played their bigs, including JaVale McGee, when they needed athleticism and quickness from the center position to somebody who's going to catch those lobs. He was right there. They had no answer for that. And here we are 3 years later, and there's no answer for that. Obvious when they were going against Jokic. You're never going to stop Jokic, but you have to not make it, you can't make it easy for him. You can't make it that, oh, you take away this, I can take that. And that leads me to his teammates. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets on an amazing run. Nobody picked them. Everybody was on, oh, well, KD's there. Oh, I heard people say, oh, that's a championship. I was always weary in my mind as a big Kevin Durant fan. Kevin Durant's my favorite player in the NBA right now. I was always weary of the fact that they didn't have any continuity on that team, and everybody on that team is known for getting hurt except Ayton. When you look at the Denver Nuggets, there was never really a test. There was never hard. It was nothing hard for them. Not saying that they played easy talent. They were just that much better. And the NBA is a copycat league. we had a certain amount of time where people were gonna copycat with the Golden State DNA. But when you start seeing teams like the Bucks with their homegrown superstar, and you add a key free agent or two, when you start seeing teams like the Miami Heat who can get in the player tournament and get to the NBA Finals with players like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Duncan Robinson, you see that it's all about continuity in the infrastructure. If you build from within, if you go ahead and get people capable of developing players instead of getting big name coaches and big name talent, you have an opportunity to win this league because it's such a turnstile. Everybody's running to go on the next team, and if you develop any type of continuity, you can be the Miami Heat, you can be the Denver Nuggets. Not saying you're gonna have a Jokic, not saying you're gonna have a playoff Jimmy. But what you can do is give yourself the best chance that once you get an upper echelon elite player, that you already have that continuity, you already have that talent that is going to elevate you to a level to compete. And I think the teams that are best suited to copy what the Denver Nuggets have done this year are the Sacramento Kings, for instance. They have a passing big man. He's nowhere near the level of a Nikola Jokic, but if you can't name me 4 other centers that'll give you the production that Sabonis does from a passing and assisting and a rebounding standpoint, I think they have the recipe to duplicate what the Nuggets did as far as a culture building set. Mike Brown is a phenomenal coach in my opinion. Former coach of the year in this league. He's a coach of the year as we speak in this league. And I think he has an opportunity to duplicate what the Denver Nuggets have done. I love everything I've seen. The only criticism that I have had personally is coming from the traditional media. They look at proud American-born players who have egos, who aren't afraid to be a man's man, and they frown upon that. They always bring up their salaries. They do things to denigrate. They always make the public feel like these players aren't deserving of what they're getting, and they should be grateful for what they're getting. But when you look at a player like Nikola Jokic, who completely, in my opinion, disrespected the entire fan base by coming out and saying he didn't want to go to the parade, he just wants to go see his horses. This place has been waiting on this. A lot of people haven't seen this coming. This has never happened for them. And he just showed up. For me, it was a lack of like, I don't know, passion for celebrating with your teammates. The ultimate goal. And he's already admitted that basketball is not his number one thing, which I always feel like if any American-born player admits that, they're going to be think pieces about it. They're going to be people on TV talking about, does he really love the game? He's making $50 million. If basketball is not his top priority, he should retire. But when it's Nikola Jokic, it's just seen as endearing. It's seen as, oh, he's just so humble. And I just feel like if that's the case for Nikola, I don't feel like that shouldn't be the case for a lot of the American-born players in this league. I feel like there should be a consistency across the board in which people are covered and talked about. And I don't see that. I see people look at Giannis and people look at Jokic as the humble people that they want all the NBA players to be. But the problem is Americans don't grow up humble. Traditionally, we don't grow up humble. And if you're talking about specifically the black players, they grow up on the street ball circuit. They grow up playing AAU. It's nothing but swagger. It's nothing but confidence. It's nothing but trash talk. You grow up in the jungle. You're not going to grow up into a prince. You're going to grow up into a dog. So we're not going to embrace that no more because we like the nice humble dudes that like their horses and the kids. I just feel like there should be a consistency across the board. And, yeah, we on vacation. But, I mean, I digress from that. Denver Nuggets, Game 5, I believe they took the punch in the mouth and said, you know what? No. We ain't going back to Miami and doing this whole song and dance where people get confidence. No. We're going to go ahead and punch back. Jamal Murray for this dude not to have made an all-star team is a travesty. But then you look at the Western Conference and you say, but how? You know? So when you look at their duo, 7 years in the making, I believe, or almost 10 years in the making, they're both still in their mid-20s, maybe late 20s. How many more can they reel up? I know, I love how that coaches celebrate it. They deserve it. I love seeing Aaron Gordon party with the fans, with his jersey off, with his shorts still on from the game. I love seeing all of that, and they deserve it. I love it so much for that whole entire organization. I know a few people that have been waiting on this their entire lives, and kudos to y'all. Y'all deserve it. This is the point in which we look at the next season, and for me, it's really, really, really interesting. We got the news this morning that Ja Morant is going to be suspended for 25 big games. So obviously that takes him out of all NBA under the new structure in the CBA, making it impossible for a player to reach an all NBA team if you don't play. I think the minimum 60 games or 62, one of those. And obviously if he is suspended for 25, that's going to put him at a minimum 57 games. So does it absolutely kill the Memphis Grizzlies season? No. But at the same time, it does. It doesn't kill their season, but you don't want to start out like that. We look at the draft. Oh man, it's one of those drafts that's top heavy, and then who cares after that, right? You got School Henderson, you got young fella from Alabama, I'm breaking on his name right now, Brandon, Miller, and obviously the prize at the top, Victor Wembanyama, which I have thoughts about the Spurs getting that first pick. If I have a career in sports journalism, I just want to shut up and not say any of that. So I think the thing that I'm most proud of is the bottom feeding teams, like my Orlando Magic. We're not prominent in draft discussions. I think there's actually a respect for the Orlando Magic going forward with what they've already garnered from the draft and what they've continued to produce from free agency. Though it's not been big splashes, there have been medium-sized splashes that working really well for them. And I'm just glad to see them personally. My Orlando Magic, y'all are not bottom feeders right now. You know, going forward, I really think the NBA is going to be in a great place. I think Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Frank Vogel as the coach, a defensive-minded coach, once they fill in the blanks of the roster, I think that's going to be a contending team. The Nuggets, obviously, if they're able to stand pat and be able to finagle the salary cap and keep their players at their championship, that's going to be obviously a top contender. Golden State retooling. We'll see what happens with Jordan Poole, Draymond Green situation. But they're one of those organizations that you just sit back and wait because they just lost the architect of the dynasty, Bob Myers. So I'm just going to say they're going to be contending just because they've earned the right to not be in contender to be in contender status based upon what they've already proven. I don't think Mike Dunleavy Jr. can rock the boat that hard that we're looking at Golden State not being in the top 8 seeds next year. So you got the Clippers. Does anyone know? Let's just be honest. Does anyone know? I'm tired of the Clippers. Every May it's the same thing. And I really always think that they always got the best roster in the West, and they never prove it because they can't. And it's bad. I don't even want to talk about them. The Lakers, I actually think they should stand pat. We all know how this goes. They're not going to be a Denver Nuggets top team that's just going to stand pat. They're going to try to make a big splash. If Kyrie's anywhere near available, they're going to try to plunge on him. And I don't think they should, quite frankly. I think what they should honestly do is if you're going to lose D'Angelo Russell anyway, sign and trade. It's some medium-sized fishes that could really do great in LA. How about you focus on keeping Austin Reeves? How about that? Because he's already signing shoe deals and looking around the NBA like, I'm about to get paid. How about you pay him? He's obviously great for you. Why let him go somewhere else and see if he can be great somewhere else? You know he works for you. Pay that man. If you go over to the East, is it going to be the same old? Boston Celtics, they're going to pay Jaylen Brown, or are they going to sign and trade him? Are you going to really put $700 million into 2 players? I know they've been to the finals, and I know they've been close a number of times, but you really, it's almost franchise management malpractice to keep hitting your head against the wall with this duo. For what? To keep competing? At some point, you got to see if you can take one of those salaries, bust it down into a bunch of other players like Aaron Gordon, KCP types. You're not going to find those players. Those are champions now. But maybe you give the money, give them that type of money to lure them away. Who knows? Miami's going to Miami. If Miami can pull off a Bradley Beal deal, I personally think they're coming out of the East just because they're the most battle-tested team and they have the most continuity. And adding a Bradley Beal and maybe losing a Tyler Hero in the process doesn't do much for me. It makes them that much better. They didn't have Tyler Hero throughout the course of this run, and they were able to get to the NBA Finals. So I think adding Bradley Beal and losing a Tyler Hero won't be the worst thing in the world for the Miami Heat, and I hope they actually pull off that deal. Giannis and the Bucks, that's up in the air for me because Budenholzer was gone, which I thought, yeah, they won the title in 2021, but he was supposed to be out the door anyway. And I feel like just because they won the title, they just kept that dude around, and it was like they never really wanted him anyway. So now that he's gone, I think Adrian Griffin's a good coach. He's assistant for the Magic for a while, and I think he has some great ideas. And he holds players accountable, keeping their body right. And I think they got a veteran team who's going to need somebody to help them stay accountable and keeping their body right. That's if they keep Drew Holiday, they keep the whole cast of characters, because it's talking about a lot of movement going on in Milwaukee. So they're one of those wait-and-see teams. But when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're competing. That's just what it is. He's not the LeBron of his time, but he's the LeBron of his time. Let's just keep it a buck. Anyway, I'm not going to belabor anything. We hit the major points. I think one thing to look out for is myself, Papa Joe, Ren, the Hurt Heat fan. We just want to thank you for being around and watching, for sharing, for liking, for subscribing, and just being around for the course of this whole NBA season. It's been a long, fun year. We just had our 1-year anniversary of Hart Sports, and I really appreciate everybody, supporting me, encouraging me, and I appreciate everybody telling me that this is where I should have been the whole time because of all of the SHIT I taught. So, I'm here, and I'm going to keep doing this. For me, it's therapeutic to get a lot of this stuff out when I'm talking with my friends. So it's just even more fun to put it on camera, and the more we get comfortable with it, the more you'll see some of those natural funny moments that we all normally have get to come out, and you'll really get a chance to get to know us and our personalities. It's not, it's not easy when you have jobs and you have lives and there's kids and all these things involved, but we're gonna get the chance to do this as much as we can going forward. I know we got a couple of new exciting segments coming up in the football season, because we really gonna try to get more into our bag this football season. And we weren't able to last season. We did a lot of TikToking, we did a lot of fun stuff, but we really didn't get a chance to get into some analyzing football, X's and O's, because a couple of us at Hart Sports, we really love football just as much as we love basketball, just as much as we're interested in a myriad of other sports. There's going to be a lot of UFC content in the future. Going to be a lot of NFL content in the future, and a lot of WNBA content in the future. Me and Papa Joe especially are very interested in where the women's game is going. And from the college ranks on up, there's just so much talent that is bubbling on the surface that it's gonna be an explosion fairly soon in the WNBA. We're already starting to see super teams in the WNBA, like the New York team, Connecticut, um, Las Vegas. Everybody, not everybody, but there's a lot of talent to the point where you're able to group up talent and have these teams like this. And it's gonna be real fun to talk about, you know, the way that their league is structured and how they do things, and the All-Star game, and it's just great to see, and really looking forward to getting into that with everyone. Look for some draft coverage coming up fairly soon. NBA draft, very, very fun stuff. It's one of me and Rand the Heat fans' favorite time of the year. I can't wait to really get in our back with that, so we can really start. So we can start, you know, taking off and getting a more consistent schedule with everything, and be able to keep giving y'all more content, keep growing as a family, as a sports community. And, you know, give me your feedback right in the comment section. If you were seeing any video that you wanted to give me some feedback, tell me what you thought about it, tell me what I shouldn't have said, tell me if I said something wrong, tell me if I got some stats wrong. I appreciate everybody's feedback, and I appreciate you dealing with me in my hoarse voice today. But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Hart signing off for Papa Joe and Rand the Heat fan. They here in spirit. It's Hart. I'm out this thing.